Strong brands have clear core values, a unique positioning, and a long-term strategy. That's why when I put these logos up on the screen, you know exactly what they stand for. Over the past year, I have learned so much about the power of branding. And in this video, I'm going to share the most important lessons that I have learned, and also provide my thoughts on creating a unique and powerful brand to accomplish your dream. By the end of the video, you will have clear steps I have taken that you can follow to build your own powerful brand. Hey family. For the past several months, I've been working hard to build powerful branding for my new startup company, Liquid Limbs. I'm by no means a branding expert, but one of the main reasons I started this YouTube channel was to share the lessons I have learned and am continuing to learn as I build this business. Which is why, in this video, I will teach you how to build your own brand while giving context with examples from the steps I've taken for Liquid Limbs over the past several months. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe now if you're not already. This process can help you with building your own brand or any brand. So let's get right into it. Before you can even think about building a company brand, the first step is to master your personal brand. It's really, really important that if you want to be CEO of a company, you first need to be CEO of yourself. You need to understand your own personal values and then figure out how that is going to work itself into a company or a brand. Building a personal brand is the hard part. This is where most people will ultimately give up or fail. And this is something that I struggled with personally for a really long time. I had this personal brand, Qigong Dude, that I had been building up on an Instagram platform and on social media. And I realized that I actually wanted to do different things, not just focus on Qigong. I also wanted to do engineering products and possibly different companies. And so I had to take a step back and figure out what my actual beliefs, my values, my why is. And so this is how to do it. This is the best way that I've found. What you should do is you should create a timeline of your life. On that timeline, I want you to list 20 of the most important stories, the core stories of your being. These stories are super, super important to you. I'm someone who really believes a lot in the power of a good story. You know, I had a religion teacher in high school that told me that stories are the blood of religion and the soul of humanity. That quote always really resonated with me, and I really strongly believe that. After you create that list of stories, I say at least 20, but you can shoot for more. If you can come up with 40, that's even more data. But notice that these stories aren't random. From these stories, you'll notice that you actually have similar patterns or traits. And so what you want to do is take those patterns and traits that you notice and turn them into core values. Come up with about 7 core values. It's going to be hard in the beginning, but you can whittle it down and choose 7 of the most important things that are valuable to you. For me, my biggest story, my overarching story was to do with my Lyme disease, something that I dealt with from the time I was 8 years old until I was 19 years old. And it really, really impacted my life. And that made my core value to be the opportunity to obtain wellness. That is something that's really core. I really believe that all people should have that opportunity. So you need to find that for yourself. What is your why? What's your personal mission? Like I said, if you want to be CEO of a company, you need to be CEO of yourself first. What problem are you solving? You know, it's important that your values reflect that problem. Really get in tune with yourself and your why, your mission, the reason you do what you do. That will allow you to create the most powerful company brand. Now, once you have your values figured out, you can also start to figure out your company's values. And you can do the same thing with your company. Create a mission statement for your company. Create values for your company. These things will really develop your company brand, and you can start to think about how this works. But before you do so, there's three important things to consider to develop that brand. Number one is to empathize with your customer. Empathy is the most important power. As an engineer, as an entrepreneur, the most important thing you do is that you empathize. You understand your customer, understand their problems, their pain points, their needs. How are you going to solve them? You really need to understand them and what are they looking for in a product, in a device? Is it a software solution? What is the thing that's going to take their pain and lessen it the most? And why are you doing this? Make sure it's connected with your values. Number two, really dig into your competitors, not just the obvious ones. Think about who is taking people's headspace in this industry. Understand their positioning and learn how they sold their products. If you don't do this, you won't know how to differentiate yourself and understand why you are better. For me, I realized I didn't want to be another crutch company. Crutches tend to have a negative stigma. When you think of someone using crutches or canes or walkers, there is this negative connotation attached to it, which is something that should not be true. I don't believe that there is anything wrong with using a tool like a crutch or a cane to get around. If you have a disability and that tool is going to give you more mobility, then absolutely use that tool. But that being said, crutches do carry that stigma with them. And so I didn't even consider putting like a crutch or something like this in my logo, even though that was something that we are kind of developing as like a knee crutch. And I don't even like calling it a crutch. But so figuring out that I didn't want to be in the same light as those competitors, the way they market their products, was really essential. What I wanted people to think of when they use my product is that they're using a trident. A trident is a tool that a god would use in battle. You can think of the Greek god Poseidon. I really love the idea that our products are tridents. And so that went directly into the logo. Do you see how that's different than positioning the product as a crutch? That one thing is really important. Understand how your competitors are doing it, and then you need to do it differently. You need to figure out what your customers actually want, what they'll connect with, and figure out what kind of symbol you can generate to create that. Number three is actually to make up people. This is a really common branding exercise, but the idea is you want to come up with ideal customer personas and understand how they would want to engage with your brand. So you might come up with like an older guy and a younger woman, or all different age groups, genders, anything you can think of that would be different representations of target markets and how they would interact with your brand, and understand that. So if only younger children are going to be interacting with the brand, you might want to consider that when you're developing your branding for the company. Once you've finished those steps, you're ready to build your company brand. Again, you're going to come up with about 7 key values for your company. You're going to come up with those values by first thinking of your own values. You should be building a company that you support and that you believe in. It should be aligned with your values, your mission, and your vision. But they're not necessarily going to be the 7 same values. You're also going to consider your customers. What do they want in a brand? You're going to consider your competitors. How are you going to make yourself different? The rest is a little less straightforward, but much more fun. This is where your creativity needs to kick in. Create symbols, things that surround the values that you created, and start to put that into how you can display that in imagery. These symbols create the name of your venture if you don't have one already. It creates the slogans, the colors, the logo. All of these things come from the values that you hold dear in your company. Everything comes from the values of the company. For me, one of the biggest symbols was water. Water is symbolic of purity, life, motion, renewal, and transformation. It's at the core of Liquid Limbs. It's something we all need and deserve to enjoy. And its use in our logo demonstrates upfront how our products can be used in this environment without fear. Besides water, we also have an octopus limb, which represents agility and versatility, symbolizing our ability to overcome challenging situations with creativity and intelligence. In the same way that many octopi regenerate their limbs, we are providing new opportunities for our customers to accomplish the biggest aspirations in their lives. The centerpiece of our logo features prominent aspects of our flagship product, the Navigator, combined with the ancient symbol of the trident. The handle of the Navigator is a symbol of stability and mobility, while the unique foot is more literal and indicative of the confidence that is provided by our products when walking on slippery floors. We don't think of our products as replacements for crutches. Instead, our products are tridents. The trident is the weapon of the god of the sea and other marine divinities in classical mythology. In other words, our products are tools that a god would use, empowering their users to redefine their own mobility and redefine the way they live their lives. We chose the colors purple, blue, black, and white to represent our brand. You can Google meanings of the colors and see which values correspond with the values you hold in your brand. For example, purple is often associated with royalty. In the same way our products are like tridents, our users will rule their domains as kings and queens with our product in hand. The color blue represents water and is associated with freedom, intuition, imagination, inspiration, and sensitivity. These are all elements that correspond deeply with liquid limbs. And black and white are the absolutes that encompass the full range of diversity our company serves. You know, black and white seems to be the trend, the way these companies are all moving. You see the Apple logo, the Nike logo, they're all black and white. And I could actually see liquid limbs moving more towards a black and white. But for now, in our early stages, I really do believe that the colors purple and blue help define our uniqueness. We stand out amongst the crowd of all these other companies. And you're not going to come up with all of these symbols at once. It takes time and patience and a lot of hours of brainstorming and hard work. It took me months to eventually arrive at the final logo for liquid limbs. You know, the way the octopus limb wraps around the trident is reminiscent of the catechus symbol, a snake wrapping around a rod, also known as the rod of Asclepius, which is often regarded as the emblem of medicine. While our brand is unique in every way, breaking the mold of what's possible and redefining mobility, this correlation acts as a reminder that we are first and foremost providing a medical benefit, and in doing so, are providing the highest degree of professional healthcare. And finally, I may have come up with all these symbols, but that does not mean I actually drew this in Adobe Illustrator myself. I really helped to define and make it clearly fit my vision, but I actually hired someone to do the logo. And you don't have to do everything yourself. And remember, you don't have to make it perfect. Your brand can change. This is the logo for Liquid Limbs right now, and I love it. I think it says everything we stand for, and I'm proud of our company and the brand we have put together for our customers. But might it change in the future? Sure. Matter of fact, I hope it does. The brand will evolve as the company grows, and as I grow as a person and a founder, the company will grow also. This was Apple's first logo. This was in 1976, and this is it today. A heck of a lot different if you ask me. And we all know this brand today. And we also know this brand, Liquid Limbs. Liquid Limbs is a powerful new brand that I'm ready to take to the world. What about you? Are you ready to create a powerful brand of your own? Well, now you know how. And if you've gotten to the end of the video and you haven't already subscribed, please do, so you don't miss more lessons and stories from my entrepreneurial journey. Thank you, family. See you next time.